Hello guys, now today I'm going to show you how to create an MCQ multiple choice questions in PHP. Now let's begin. Now first of all, let me start myself. I'll start the Apache server and also start the MySQL there. Now having this started already, I'll just go direct and launch and show you what I mean in our browser. Now this is the MCQ that allows learners to choose the choice for each question and then grade them at the end. Just want to give you a quick demo on how this operates. Now I'll choose choice A for that, and here I'll choose choice D, last choice, and this one the first choice is A. And finally, you see it gives the student the grade at the end. So let's see how this is done in PHP. So I'll go ahead and open the VS Code, the Visual Studio Code. You can see how Visual Studio Code is just on the verge of opening. And then I'll show you the structure of my folder, whatever I have, whichever pages I have in that folder. You'll be able to see that. Now you may be wondering how important this application is. Now this application can help you to assess your learners as fast as possible and within the shortest time possible. So you may get to know whether they have learned something or not, because it gives the result immediately, and you can be able to trace that. Now I'll open the folder containing my project. Go to File here, open folder. Takes a bit, it's taking time. Let's give it a few minutes. Right. Now my folder is named MCQ, so just choose on this MCQ folder and select. Now, if you want the basics of setting up the environment for programming PHP, I want to urge you to go ahead and check on my previous videos. I have a lot of videos on that, and I hope after watching all those videos you will be able to see how to go about setting up the environment for your programming programming in PHP. Now, this is my folder here, MCQ. Right now, all the files, having all the files open here. Now, these are the files that I created, that I'm working with. And remember, I'm also using Bootstrap CSS framework, so you can also do the same. You can go to getbootstrap.com and extract the CSS and JS folders, and then integrate them into your project, so you may get to do your CSS formatting as fast as possible. Now, this is the structure of my project. Now, I have index.php. Now, in index.php, you can check here. This is where we add questions to the database. Now, I forgot. Let me show you how my database is. So it's localhost/php myadmin. Just go ahead and clear this and type php myadmin. Give it time to load. This table in PHP myadmin, I have two tables, that is the choices table and questions table. And these tables are related because a question can have many choices, and of course only one choice can be correct. So every choice must have a question ID. So that is what is going to give us the impetus to actually get choices for each question. Now, this is our database here called MCQs, and it has two tables, as you can see, choices and questions table. Let's see the structure of each of those tables. Let's begin with questions table here. Taking a bit of time to load, but you can see here it has loaded fully. Now we have question ID as one of the column. See if you check the structure of this, so you may see it well. Let's get to structure. Question ID is an integer. And I did not make it auto increment. It's also the primary key for this table. Integer size 11 characters. And we have question text, which is a voucher, just the default number of characters, 255, as you can see here. Now, that is all about the question. It has only two columns, as you can see there. Now, the choices table. The choices table has 4 columns. Now, the first column is choice ID, which is auto increment. Then we have the choice itself, which is you can make it a text if you like, but for my case, my choice column is voucher, which is 255 characters, and QID, which is the question ID, must be the same as the data type must be the same as what was in the previous table, the question table. So it is int, data type int, and 11 characters. It's correct tiny int, which I also made to be as defined by the user. The default is 0. As you can see, the default is 0 for is correct. 0 means that it is an incorrect choice. 1 means it is a correct choice. So all choices that are wrong will have it is correct as 0. And so this is the whole thing about table. Now let's get to the functionality of the whole thing in PHP. Now let's begin with posting data. Now I'll go ahead here and show you my front page. This is the index and how data is added to the database. Type localhost as MCQ index.php, and this gives us the forms that are used to add data to our database. Now this field is Now let's let's see the questions first. The questions form is here. This is to add questions to the questions table. So the form action is processed with PHP, input type is number, and the name is QID, and of course we want the form to display the next. Every time we open the form, we want it to display the next. The next row, so we may enter new data. That is why we are using this rows +1. This one we got up here. So we connect the database and then we queried the questions table, select all from the question table, and then we counted the number of rows using MySQL num rows, for example, from this query, because this is selecting all the rows. And if we want to get the number of rows, use the PHP function MySQL num rows. And once you've done that, you add 1 to the total rows, and that one will give you the next row. So we don't have to type the question ID each time we enter a new value. We can get that from, but that one still does not prevent us from changing. We can still change this by using these arrows here and change it the way you like. Now this is where we add the questions to our database. So let's say okay, let's refresh this, and we refresh. The question ID, it is upon you to decide, because it is not auto increment. So you don't have to rely on that increment that is set up. This is just to help you in case you want to use data that is sequential. So right now, I think the next record should be the 5th. If you check in our, we have already 4. We have, if you check the questions table, the number of questions here, you can see is 4. So we are supposed to move to the 5th question, which I want to add very fast, so as to demonstrate how records are added to the questions table. Now the 5th question, I'll type which which of the following correctly defines a software. Again, post the question to the database. And that question, let's check the database if it is posted. Let's refresh this. Now we can see here the question is posted in the database. ID 5 there. Now let's post the choices for that question. And the first choice is going to be set of instructions. This is our correct choice, so it's correct to become 1, and question ID of course is 5. So we add the choice. Let's add another choice here. It is a soft material. Soft. Soft material. That is our second choice. And the question ID, it's correct, is 0. It's not correct. Question ID is question 5. So we add the choice again. And next we type the other choice. Software is something. Cannot see. Okay. It's correct 0. Question ID 5. So add the choice. Now there is no limit on the number of choices you can add. You can add as many choices as possible for each question. So for now, we'll just go with those 3 choices that I've added to the database. Now, if you go to localhost, if you get to localhost /MCQS here, and you move to the 5th ID. Okay, the 5th ID there, you can see our question is displayed here, and it becomes part of our question. And the minutes, you can also see that the minutes have increased. Okay, now let's get back and see how the whole thing operates. Now, that is how the index page is. This is where we are posting it. It's mainly the 2 forms for posting the data to the 2 tables. We are not doing them at once, but you can make this. You can integrate both the choices and the questions and post them at once. There's no need of posting questions separately from the choices. That's how it takes a lot of time, but I hope you'll be able to modify that and make it to be in one form. Now let's get to what happens when we post this. When we click on select choice and get a question here, and we click on maybe select choice, what happens? Now this is posting data. This is actually posting data. To process.php, like the question is posting data to process.php, and also the choice is posting data to process.php method is post. So let's go to process.php and see how this data is inserted into the database. Now data is usually inserted into a database by use of structured query language. So we use SQL here. So first of all, we make a connection to the database and check if the post button is clicked. Now the button is named post. And we check if both the fields are not empty, that is the question ID and the question text field. If they are not empty, then we assign these post variables here to these variables here, and then insert those into our database. And that is how I'm using binded parameters here, as you can see. For more on crude operations, you can get back to my previous videos and watch a lot of crude operations. You can also check here and see how I'm doing the same. Now the choices part are posting data to this choice. We are doing the same thing. We are checking if post choice is clicked. If it is clicked, we are checking if these fields are empty. If any of them is empty, then we will display an error. If none of them is empty, then we will assign QID to post QID choice is correct to post correct is correct there, and then we insert the same into the database, as you can see here. Now that is all about inserting both the choices and the questions to the database. Now, how do we get these choices and questions back to the form? Now, I'll take you to MCQ.php, where we are reading from the database the question and the corresponding choices. Now, this is what we are doing here. We are okay. Now, let me see. Okay, now let's get down here. Okay, now let's begin from here. Let's leave alone this part first. Let's leave alone this PHP super global get ID here. This one, let's forget about this first. So let's check. We actually are checking if the get ID, that is the ID of the ID of the question, that is the current question here. We are checking if the get ID now. The ID is posted here for each question. You can see we are posting the question ID at this point as a hidden data. So that is what we are getting here. So we get the ID, and then we use a query, select query to select all questions from the questions table where the question ID is the same as the ID that is posted. And then we query this. We also do the same for the choices. We select all choices where the question ID is the same as the question. So this is going to pull all the choices that is having the QID as the ID that is on the PHP superglobal there. And that is how we are getting data. Once we get the data, this is where the data is echoed. We are echoing the data here using MySQL fetches up. We use while loop here, while result equals MySQL fetches up quizzes, and we echo result QID, and we also echo result text, which is the question text. So we echo the question ID and the question text at that point. This question ID will give us the number of the question, and the result question text will give us the text for each question. Now for each question, we get the choices for each question, like what we have seen there. So while we use now the variable row, while row equals MySQL fetches of choices, and then we get all the choice ID, and then we of course we display it, but it is the choice ID that is posted to our process. .php. This is posted to answercheck.php, not process.php. But for this form, we are posting data to process.php. Okay, that is all about how we are getting our choices and questions. How we are reading the choices and corresponding. We are reading questions and corresponding choices from the database. Now, how do we check for correct answer? Now, you can see we are posting our form here. Action is answer check.php with the method post. Now, once we have the data here in a form, we post this to answer check.php. We start a session here, and we connect to the database. Now we check if the session score is not set. If it is not set, we set it to 0, because that one means that the question has not been attempted. The questions have not been attempted, so the score is still 0. Now, if the submit choice button is clicked, if it's set for submit choice, then question ID will be assigned to the question, choice ID assigned to choice ID here. And then we will select all from questions, and we get the number of results. This is going to give us the number of questions. Of course, this is used to get the number of, the current row that we are in. So this is going to give us the current row. Don't worry about that. Now we are selecting for correct choice from the choice. Now we use the query select all from choices where QID is equal to question ID and is correct is equal to 1. Now the choice that was correct, we were giving it a value of 1. So that is going to pull a correct choice for this question from the database. It's going to pull the correct choice from this, and then you can see we are taking if the choice ID of the correct choice is equal to the choice that is submitted, then we add 1 to the score. It means that the score of that person shall have increased by 1 because the choice that the person has submitted is the same as the choice that was correct in the database. So that one adds 1 session score plus add 1 to the score, which was 0. So that person shall have got 1 by the end of that question. And that one happens for all the questions. Every time the person clicks on the select choice button, it will repeat the whole thing. Yeah? So it will start from top and check for that question again, check for the correct choice, compare it with what is in the database, see if it is correct. If it is correct, it adds 1, and that one continues continuously. Now, if we have reached, if the question ID is the same as the number of rows in the number of rows in the questions table, then we are supposed to be taken to the score.php because that person shall have tackled all the questions. So we are supposed to, that person is supposed to be taken to score.php so as to see his or her results. So that is how this whole thing operates. Now in the score.php we are now displaying, we are using session. Remember we were using session score. So here you can see we echo the session score at this point, and we can't do that without starting a session. So we are starting a session using the function session start here, and that is going to now we are getting the score that is the person is over the total number of questions. So the questions, we get that from using MySQL numbers here, selecting all the questions. We get them here, and we check if the session score is set. If it's set, we display it here, and we unset it at the same time, because if you don't unset the session score, it won't go away. So we have to unset this and then put over the total here. And that is how the whole thing operates. Now the last demo, let's select a wrong choice for this. You see, select another wrong choice for that, and let's select the correct choice here. You can see the correct here. We select the correct choice, and you can see we have 3/5. So that is how the whole thing works. Now I hope you found this to be helpful to you. Now if you need more on these videos, then feel free to subscribe to my channel, and you also click on the notification button to be notified every time I upload a new video to my channel. Have a nice day.